Okay. We're starting early today because I've got work in a couple hours, so this was the only way I could fit it in. Also, I'm probably not going to be able to talk to the chat room very much, or possibly not at all, because I kind of have to get ready before too long. So let's just do the review. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the comments section / chat room. And I'll get started. I'll just do this review, and maybe we'll talk for a minute or two, and then I gotta get going because I gotta get dressed and eat something and all that stuff. So, all right, you can hear me fine. Okay, good. Let's go. Let me just minimize that. Make it a little smaller. Okay. So, Impact this week begins with us back at the Hardy compound, and Matt is conversing with his good friend George Washington, and this whole thing was a little confusing to me. They have a conversation, and this leads Matt to think that he needs to hide his abilities in Brother Nero because he might lose them somehow. So he transfers all his broken universe powers into Brother Nero, and then he teleports to Egypt because Brother Nero had a premonition that Matt was going to Egypt. And I guess Matt had a past life that was an Egyptian or something. I didn't understand this part. And then it kind of gets resolved without us seeing anything in Egypt. So, I mean, it's still entertaining because this broken universe stuff has gotten so bizarre. It's kind of like they kind of can't lose with it at this point. You're watching it just for the sheer weirdness of it. But yeah, I didn't know what this was about. But they come back to it later on, so I'll get to that in a minute. So our show proper begins with Cody Rhodes making his big return, and he was feuding with Lashley when he came back, but I guess that's not a thing anymore because why would we want Lashley, our world champion, feuding with like the biggest free agent in wrestling right now? You know? Yeah, that's idiotic. Now we're gonna have him feud with Josh Barnett. That makes more sense, apparently. So yeah, so Cody has moved on to this thing with Brandy and Moose because Moose helped out Brandy with the Decay because those two are such great friends. If you didn't know. And how could you know? Because TNA never told us until it happened. Yeah. So, anyway, Moose helped out Brandy, so Cody wants to thank him. So they bring Moose out there, and it turns out that Moose has Brandy's phone number. And this makes Cody so insane with jealousy that he kicks Moose in the nuts. Yeah, because Moose isn't a friend. Moose is a slut. That's what Cody's going with. Yeah, so Moose gets kicked in the balls, and so I guess Cody's a heel now, and he's going to feud with Moose. And I got to be honest, this whole thing felt really just rushed and kind of sloppily thrown together, kind of clumsily executed, the whole thing. All right, if you're going to turn Cody heel, I mean, shouldn't that be kind of a big deal? I mean, this is like, again, biggest free agent in wrestling right now. Should be getting the star treatment, and to kind of treat a heel turn that should be a big deal, just to treat it so casually like they did, it just didn't work for me. I thought this needed more attention put onto it, and it just kind of felt like it was phoned in, to be honest with you. So we'll see where that goes, but I wasn't crazy about that segment at all. On the plus side, it is keeping Brandy away from the knockout division. Hopefully for the foreseeable future. So that's a plus. Another plus is Eli Drake is talking again. Thank God. Unfortunately, he's still feuding with Tyrus. So they do this match, and it's not much of a match. I'm assuming they wanted to hide Tyrus's shortcomings in the ring. But the damage is still done, because Eli Drake can't easily beat him, even though Tyrus has been booked like a jobber since the day he walked into this fucking company. No, he tries to do something, and Tyrus kind of throws him around and throws him out of the ring or whatever, and Eli Drake acts scared, even though he was taking EC3 to the limit not that long ago, and now he can't fucking handle Tyrus? A bunch of bullshit. So Tyrus is choking him, and now Eli Drake bribes him and says, hey, I'll pay you more money. Yeah, so he can't beat Tyrus. He punches Earl Hebner, gets himself DQ'd, just to get out of wrestling Tyrus. And then he has to bribe him to save himself. So not only is the storyline still going on, they're back to being a pair. So this is still not over. The storyline is still not finished. And we're still wasting Eli Drake's time with this garbage. This guy, who should be getting fast-tracked to the main events, is still in this dead-end storyline with a guy who's only getting used because he's on that fucking, Fox News segment thing that he does? Who cares? Nobody likes this motherfucker. It's just... If you want to use him because he's on Fox News, give him a fucking news segment that doesn't drag Eli Drake down with him. Give him something he can do by himself. You know, why are you hurting Eli Drake just to feature a guy that nobody gives a shit about? It's stupid. So that was frustrating. So anyway, we're back to the Broken Universe, and Matt is returned from Egypt, and he's all decked out in his Egyptian garb now, and Skarsgård is no longer Skarsgård. Skarsgård has been transformed into the Golden Ark. So I guess he got a new paint job, and this is where they're going to be housing all the tag team championships from all of time and space that they win. And, okay, I guess it beats trying to get those things through airport security. You know, beats lugging around a bunch of title belts all over the planet, so that's fine. So they teleport away to, I believe, Maryland Championship Wrestling for their next stop on the Expedition of Gold. So we'll get back to that. Again, you know, really entertaining stuff from Matt here. And next, we go back to the ring where we have Jade in the ring for a promo. And she's calling out Rosemary because she's on a mission to take the Knockout Division back from Rosemary. Her words. She's taken the Knockout Division back, which is strange because if you think about it, Rosemary hasn't really done anything wrong. No. Okay. It's a phone ring. Just ignore that. So yeah. Rosemary hasn't really done anything wrong. The worst things that she's done were attacking Gail Kim and Jade during a talking segment, which wasn't even a sneak attack or anything. She walked right up to them, looked them in the eye, and let them know what she was about to do. Misting Gail Kim in the face, and then bullying Brandy 2 weeks ago. And that's really it. I mean, she was a heel in those situations, sure, but it's not like she's been ruling the Knockout Division with an iron fist or anything. It's not like those were the worst things any Knockout's ever done. Far from it. Aside from that, she's been a fighting champion, defending her title against all challengers, winning her title defenses clean and legit and within the rules. The one exception, I think, was the one-night-only match with Sienna, where she used the Poison Mist to win, and that was only after Sienna had been acting more heelish than Rosemary was. So, what Jade's talking about here rings kind of false. I mean, really, what has Rosemary done that's so horrible? And it's not the first time they've done this, either. I mean, not long ago, they were trying to make it sound like Gail Kim being on the shelf was Rosemary's fault, and it wasn't. It's as if the writers think Rosemary is some terrible, reprehensible monster, but they keep trying to tell us that she's worse than she actually is, and her actions don't support it. It's weird. And they don't seem to understand that the fans like Rosemary. They really like her. They want to cheer this woman. And just telling us that we should hate this super magnetic and charismatic figure who is way more interesting than most of your other knockouts without giving us a compelling reason why is not going to work. It's the same thing as the Eli Drake situation. It's like the writers are in a sailboat and the wind is blowing north, but they keep trying to steer the boat south. You know, if the writers are dead set on Rosemary being a heel, they need to have her do some really, really evil stuff. You know, something a lot worse than misting Gail Kim in the face, because newsflash, dummies, the fans in the crowd were thanking her for that. Watch the video and see for yourself. I'm just saying. So Rosemary comes out and says that she's finished with Jade now and she wants to make the rest of the other knockouts decay. And, yeah, I mean, she's beaten Jade several times in a row. You know, Jade really doesn't have much of a case here. But, you know, no, Jade's not giving up. She's all, look, Red, I survived all that crazy shit you tried to do to me. I'm still standing. I dove off the top of that steel cage, and I'm still standing. I want one more shot at that title, even though she just said a minute ago that it wasn't about the title anymore. So, so Jade wants one more shot at Rosemary's Knockouts Championship. You know, Jade, you've had several opportunities to win the title over the last few months. Been beaten by Rosemary every time. Now she wants another one. Rosemary's got nothing left to prove to Jade at this point. If she wants another title shot, I'd like to see her earn one. You know, have Jade win a #1 contendership match or something. Her just coming out there and demanding another shot makes her look a little bit entitled, in my opinion. And this... this is where you can see why what they did last week was so damn stupid. All right, last week they did a mixed tag match wherein Rosemary was made to look like a complete chump by Rhodes, the worst knockout worker they have. And now, 1 week later, Brandy is doing this thing with Cody and Moose, while Rosemary is right back to feuding over the Knockouts title with a woman she's gone over on several times in a row just recently. Do you see how messed up this is? If you're a casual fan watching this, you're probably wondering why Brandy isn't getting the title shot instead of Jade, which is really not something you want people thinking for obvious reasons, the most important one being that Brandy kind of sucks. So basically, they just made Rosemary look bad, damaged her momentum and their title feud with Jade just so they could facilitate a storyline in which Brandy is a fucking plot device to get her husband to feud with Moose. Writers, out of all the women in the company you could have done that to, did it have to be the Knockouts champion? Do you not understand how fucking idiotic that was? So you figure that out. Anyway, Jade wants one more title shot. She wants it in a last knockout standing match. And Rosemary agrees, and I guess she's going to go for it on the grounds that Jade puts up her soul as collateral. So that's, you know, who knows what that's going to lead to. But anyway, Jade's all like, okay, bring your best. The title's coming home with me this time. And it's another great promo from Rosemary that goes without saying at this point. Jade was a little better than normal here. And, you know, most of the time, promos are not her strongest suit. But, you know, she was better than she usually is here. So it comes off very well overall. It was a nice recovery after the bullshit they did with Rosemary last week. Hey, it feels like a big deal. They've always delivered in these matches so far. So I'm looking forward to this match next time, although I think it was like their third big gimmick match of these TV tapings, so they were probably exhausted at that point. But I'm looking forward to it. Good segment overall. Good stuff here. And then we have Bram of the DCC versus Jesse Godderz. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so Kingston is on the outside of the ring. He's interfering in the match. Jesse's fighting him off. The crowd is reacting to Jesse Godderz here, so you know his latest babyface run seems to be working out. now that he's separated himself from the bromance crap, thank God. Jesse wins in pretty short order, despite the interference. The match really isn't very long at all. I think it's like 4 minutes and change or something. Frankly, Bram lost way too fucking quickly. And then Kingston attacks Jesse, but Jesse throws him out of the ring, and... Okay, seriously. What is going on with the DCC here? Are they badasses, or are they jobbers? These writers cannot make up their fucking minds. Because they're constantly switching between one or the other. First, they're beating the Decay, then they take out EC3, then they can barely handle Tyrus, and now they're getting embarrassed by Jesse Godderz every week. What the fuck are these guys even doing anymore? I have no idea. Just pick a direction for them, any direction, and stick with it! Yeah, this whole faction/angle just reeks of the writers not having a plan for them. It's like they thought of a gimmick and a stable for these guys and put them out there and just had no clue what they were going to do with them. So now they're just throwing stuff at the wall. Okay, first EC3, and then Eli Drake and Tyrus, and now they're losing to Jesse, and it's... What the fuck? There's no clear direction. They're just meandering around, treading water, just feuding with anyone the writers want to put in front of them from week to week. All three of these guys deserve better than this. Okay, not saying that I have a problem with Jesse Godderz going over on them, because Jesse Godderz has become pretty impressive in the last year or so. But I'm just saying, all these guys, Jesse included, deserve better. Anywho, back in the Broken Universe, the Hardys have teleported to Maryland Championship Wrestling, I believe. And, yeah, they go into the locker room, and, some of these indie guys get on TV. Probably a big thrill for them. Of course, you can, in a lot of cases, you can see why these people haven't been on TV before. Anyway, so the Hardys agree to team up with the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws, who I guess are the #1 contenders. And they go after the tag team titles together, because the Hardys winning the tag titles would be the ticket for these guys to a better life somehow. So they go into another locker room, and there's this big brawl, and that convinces the tag team champions, who apparently are undefeated for like 12 years or something, to give them a title shot. Okay, not sure how that tracks, but whatever. I can roll with it. And then we go to the match, and we see more of the match this time. In Mexico, the one from Mexico, we didn't see a lot of it. A bunch of quick clips. Here we saw a good couple of minutes of it, and I like that. We don't see the whole match, but we see more of it, and it's all well put together. It comes off very well. Not as big a crowd as the one in Mexico, obviously, but it's still probably a bigger crowd than the Impact Zone, and certainly more lively. So it comes off really nicely here. Excuse me. The Hardys are over as hell. Like, everyone in the arena is doing the delete, delete, delete thing. So, they come off like stars, even though it's not a huge arena there. And so if they win, of course. And then they teleport home, and, Skarsgård sets off fireworks. Once again, one of the best things on the show. This Expedition of Gold thing, I wasn't sure how it was going to go over, or how it was going to work, or even what the point of it was, admittedly. But these segments have been great so far. I'm excited to see it continue for a while. Although it has put the tag team division on Impact in limbo for the time being. That I don't like. That's a little damaging. Because you only really got 2 other tag teams right now in the DCC and the Decay, and they're both kind of not being used so well at the moment. Yeah. So, throughout the night, we're also getting these pre-tapes of the Ladies Squad getting ready for the wedding of Braxton and Laurel. And, again, it's all pretty entertaining stuff here. Allie gets really frustrated finally, and she storms out, and she asks Sutter, "Why are you doing this? Is this really what you want, Braxton? Is this what you want?" And they're getting pretty close to kind of pulling the trigger on this and revealing why he's been doing all this. And I'm getting pretty excited for it, because this has been teased for a while. Like a couple of months at this point. Like, what does Maria have on Allie that would make Braxton Sutter go through all this just to protect her? I'm getting really excited for it, and I'm thinking the reveal is finally coming, and it is. For all the good it did, it is. It's coming. So, you know, good build-up, admittedly. You know, it's good build-up. I'm getting excited for the wedding segment, so that was well done. Then we go back to the ring for something pretty random, actually. Bad Bones from the Gut Check Challenge vote thing from a while back. Yeah, he's in the ring. Just randomly. He just shows up. He's there. And so Josh Barnett comes out for a match with him. Because Josh Barnett is wrestling Bad Bones on this show. If they did any promotion for this match at all, I didn't see it. Which is really bizarre. You've got a former UFC heavyweight champion wrestling on your show. Wouldn't you want people to know about that? Apparently not. They had that one graphic, you know, who is Josh Barnett? And that was the only thing I saw. And ironically, I think that may have been a question that a lot of people in the crowd were asking themselves. So, yeah, they had that one video package about Josh Barnett during the show. That was pretty much it. I didn't even know that this match was happening until he came out. They just threw it out there like it was any other match. Didn't feel special at all. And look, I don't know what kind of pro wrestler Josh Barnett is, but it looked like he was in MMA mode out there during this thing. He didn't try to engage the crowd or anything. He just had kind of an awkward-looking match with Bad Bones that probably went too long, if I'm being honest. He didn't do anything really impressive aside from that power bomb. The crowd didn't react to it so much or seem to care much at all. And that was about it. Whatever this was supposed to accomplish, I don't think it worked. It didn't make me excited for Barnett versus Lashley. Hell, it doesn't even seem like the company is excited about that. So, what were we supposed to take away from this? I don't know. So, after taking a few weeks off, the X Division finally makes an appearance. We got DJZ getting his title rematch against Trevor Lee, and, you know, DJZ's still selling the leg injury, but he's out there, and it's not a ladder match this time, so he has a fighting chance. And, you know, there's a story being told here where DJZ is trying to battle through the pain, battle through the injury, and he tries going high risk at one point, but the leg is too hurt and he can't pull it off, but then he guts through it and he hits the reverse Hurricane Rana later. So that was nice. You know, he fights off Shane Helms. He's about to win, but then Trevor Lee wins by holding the tights anyway. So DJZ loses, and then he attacks Shane Helms because he's pissed off, but he gets laid out by Trevor Lee, saved by Andrew Everett, and holy shit, you know, Everett hit that Hurricane Rana on Trevor Lee. Lee sold that thing like it fucking murdered him. I mean, he's like upside down, just bouncing on his head there for a second. It was pretty impressive. So, yeah, the crowd is digging Andrew Everett as a babyface. They reacted to him, so that's good. Not sure where that leaves DJZ, but hey, I guess maybe he can just you know, take a breather and, you know, heal up from all his injuries, because the guy was working injured for a while. And nice to see Andrew Everett finally getting to do something. So that's cool. You know, decent segment. Kind of wish the match had been longer, but at least the X Division was back on TV now. So, yeah, nice story told in the match. Andrew Everett getting highlighted finally. That's good stuff. And so we come to our main event segment. The one with the most hype, the most build-up, the wedding of Braxton Sutter and the sexy giraffe Laurel Van Ness. Not to be confused with the far less sexy giraffe George Washington. And I really have to talk about this in two parts. First of all, this segment went over huge. Okay, regardless of how you felt about it, and I don't even care for wedding angles normally, the crowd was eating this thing up. Man, this segment got more heat than anything I can remember on this show in a long time. By the standards of the Impact Zone, this was freaking nuclear heat. You know, everybody played their parts well. I mean, LVN was really good as the stuck-up, spoiled bridezilla. Mike Bennett was funny as the best man being completely wasted. He comes out with Sutter and he's stumbling all over the place with these 2 bottles of wine. It was funny stuff. I don't know what Rex and Spud were doing out there. It was odd, but whatever. You know, everything's going really nicely. They even changed up the set finally. You know, they won't do it for pay-per-views, but they'll do it for a wedding angle on free TV. Good to know. Okay. And yes, Braxton Sutter is not the most compelling character to put at the center of a big angle like this, but the story had been really well told up to this point, and the fans are so in love with the Alley character that it didn't matter. You know, they were fucking into this crowd was. So the whole angle is going about as well as you could have asked for. The fans are booing what they're supposed to boo, cheering what they're supposed to cheer, and then we get to the I do's. And we finally learn why Sutter had to go through all this. We finally learn why he had to go to such incredible lengths to protect Allie. What Maria had on Allie to keep Allie under her boot this whole time. The huge secret that they've been teasing us with for months. Turns out, there wasn't one. The whole damn time, Sutter was just doing this so Maria wouldn't fire Allie. And they blew it. They fucking blew it. That was it. That's what all this was about. Maria just threatened to fire Allie from a job that Allie hates. From a job that I thought they had already resolved months ago. That was all you had? Are you fucking kidding me? Allie hated working for Maria. She's hated it for a long time now. She would have been happy to lose that job. If she got fired, so the fuck what? She'd still have a job with Impact Wrestling, so what's the fucking problem here? This whole angle was about them manufacturing some bullshit dilemma that didn't even exist. Why the fuck did they even bother keeping this a secret? Why were they building this up as some big shocking reveal if they never even had a reveal? Why didn't Maria just come out and say it months ago? Hey Sutter, if you don't date LVN like I told you to, I'm gonna ruin Allie's life. I mean, sure, it'd be kind of lame, but it would have made more sense than this did. Fucking unbelievable, man. God damn it. This was a good angle. This was a well-told, long-term storyline for months that got all the participants over. Allie is one of the most over people on the roster today because of this angle. But so much of it was building up to this moment, was hinging on this reveal, and they had fucking nothing. This was so obviously something that the writers hadn't thought out. Like they wanted Maria to blackmail Sutter into doing all this stuff to make Allie miserable, but they didn't have a good reason for him to do it, so they just had him do it anyway, and then when the time came to reveal it, they realized that they never thought of anything. What a fucking load. The one silver lining here is that whichever writer was responsible for sticking the landing on this angle is not on the creative team anymore. Because holy shit, that was a letdown. And yet, I can't say it didn't do what it needed to do. Because this segment got over like $1 million. When Sutter said he couldn't marry LVN because he was in love with Allie, the crowd went nuts. When they had their big kiss at the end, the crowd was popping huge. Ultimately, this angle succeeded in turning Allie into a huge fan favorite, LVN into a really hated heel, and Sutter into a character that fans might actually give a shit about when he's on screen. So, even though the writers dropped the ball like 1 yard from the end zone, I can't say this storyline didn't work. So, we got some really good stuff and some pretty bad stuff this week. I'm loving the Expedition of Gold. The Jade Rosemary segment was a nice improvement / recovery after what they had Rosemary go through last week. It sucked. And the wedding angle went over great despite the writers phoning it in. So the performers really saved that one. But then there's Eli Drake still stuck in this dead-end storyline with Tyrus. The Josh Barnett thing just kind of fell flat in my opinion. And the DCC, what the fuck are you doing with these guys, TNA? Seriously. So, long story short, this Impact was all over the place. Which pretty much sums up this entire set of TV tapings, to be honest. My guess is Gaburik knew he was about to be replaced as head of creative, so he just threw up his hands and went, fuck it. Let's just write whatever, and then it's someone else's problem. So, yeah. Good riddance, Gaburik. Just go back to production and leave the writers to people who can actually, you know, write stuff. Because that's obviously not your strong suit. Alright, I don't have a whole lot of time to talk to the chat room, so I'm just gonna try to, I'm just gonna see if there's anything really interesting that I can't not respond to. Even though Jeff Jarrett has his problems, are you still looking forward to Impact with Jarrett, Mantell, and D'Amore booking now? I think the wrestling quality will probably get better. Because D'Amore is one of the best bookers they ever had. I expect the knockout matches will take a step up. One thing that does concern me is that it's three wrestling traditionalists doing the booking now. And, they don't have a single person on the writing team that's under 40. I'm pretty sure. I guess like Abyss and Rockstar Spud and JB are assisting there, so maybe they've got input. That's good. That's a plus. But you know, who's providing? You know, who's in touch with the younger audience here? Do they have anyone who kind of understands that demographic to give input into this writing process? Because they probably need something like that. That's a concern I have. I like Jesse, but come on, they keep fucking with the DCC. Yeah. It's like they've got no plan for those guys at all. What I want is a new layout within TNA so the show can feel different. You mean like a new look for the set? Well, apparently, to get a new look for the set, we'd have to have a wedding angle every week. Because that's the only thing that seems to get them to change things up in at ringside. You know, make things look different, make the set look different. Because they actually changed things. They took the ropes down, and maybe the lighting was a little different too. So yeah, apparently that's what it takes. Let's see. One of the worst and most worthless segments was Eli and Tyrus. Tyrus could have just come out and said he got paid instead of teasing something that won't happen. Yeah. It's teasing something that nobody wanted to see happen. Tyrus beating up Eli Drake? No one wants to see that. They want to just see Eli Drake beat the shit out of Tyrus and move on. Better Jade than Gale? Agreed. I'm sorry, I'm skipping over a lot of these, but I really don't have a whole lot of time here before I have to leave. So, was it that hard to do a number one contenders match? Sienna versus Jade versus Brooke. I just came up with that off the top of my head. Alright, yeah. Of course, I wouldn't want Brooke or Sienna to have to do a job, but hey, if it's a competitive match, they're not going to get hurt. Not going to get hurt by it. It is awkward to see Jade just coming out and demanding another shot after she's lost several in a row. You know, the writers have to be cognizant of how stuff like that looks and how it comes across. If Rosemary defeats Jade, who will feud with Rosemary? Probably Gail, because Gail's got an indie show booked. I think pretty soon, so I guess she's cleared to wrestle by now. So they're probably going to have Rosemary feud with Gail now. Still really nervous about that. Because D'Amore and Mantell are back writing this shit now. And, they were booking the Knockout division back when it was the Worship at the Altar of Gail Kim division. So, they're all you got several big marks for Gail Kim and, writing the show now. So, I really hope that they understand that they can't just hold on to the past for dear life now. They have to move on. They have to develop their future stars, because it's really much more important that Rosemary have a great first title reign than it is for Gail to get, a sixth title reign that won't go anywhere. Rosemary's doing great with the title. She's the first really interesting Knockouts champion they've had in over a year. She needs to fucking beat Gail and keep the title for a long time. That's what needs to happen. I don't know if those new writers believe that. I'm nervous. What do you think it would be time for Rosemary to go through the ladies' squad? Well, she's still got several baby faces she can feud with. I don't know if it's necessary for her to go through the heels yet. So I think it'd be a while at least. Heard a rumor about Spike TV officials were at the January tapings. By the way, Spike TV is changing name to Paramount Network. Yeah, I heard that too. It's kind of ironic that a while back everybody was desperate for TNA to leave Spike TV and go to another network, and now Spike TV would be a big step up. And so yeah, a step up from Pop TV. Yeah, that would be a big step up. Hey, maybe now that Dixie's out of the picture and they're dealing with Anthem and Jarrett, maybe Spike TV would be open to renewing their relationship with Impact. Getting back on a decent sized network. Hopefully get more money out of the TV deal. That would be a big positive. I'm sorry I have to skip over so many of these. Okay. It's actually ASW, which is an indie fit in West Virginia. Oh, okay. Why isn't TNA selling DVDs of the Best of the Broken Universe? Guaranteed it will sell like crazy, adding commentary tracks of Matt in character. Well, they've always kind of dragged their feet on producing DVDs, so I guess it's not surprising. Although, that's a great point. They should be producing stuff like that. They could, like the whole first year of the Broken Universe, starting with, the Final Deletion, and Delete or Decay, and the Great War, and all that stuff. Throw Expedition of Gold stuff in there, you could make that a whole DVD. People would buy that shit. I don't know why they're not doing it. That's a great point. Let's see, Maria was more upset than LVN. Maybe Maria wanted to marry Sutter. Or maybe Maria just loves tormenting Allie. Josh Barnett was so out of shape. Couldn't they have waited till he was in ring shape? Yeah. Didn't exactly look, cut and jacked and all that stuff, did he? It's another reason why the segment didn't come off so well. Josh Matthews has been a D-bag. Yeah, he is. I'm starting to suspect that whole thing is a work at this point. Otherwise, it's like, is the guy trying to get himself fired? I don't know. They're promoting him versus Lashley. Bad Bones was going to job. Well, yeah, but this was still Barnett's. This was still like a former UFC heavyweight champion wrestling for the first time on your show. Wouldn't you want people to know about that? Wouldn't you want to promote that at all? It just seems strange that they wanted that to go under the radar, apparently. Pope's still trying to figure out why Robbie E came out to ruin the wedding. What the hell was he doing out there? Apparently because the feud with Aaron Rex is still not done. Christ. The wedding was great. The talking was boring. Sutter and Laurel was okay. The brawling between Moose, Sienna, Miracle, Sutter, Allie, Maria, and Robbie E was really Robbie E. White, DJZ, and Leslie was okay. Okay. I really hope Rosemary keeps the title for a long time, but with Gail there, I would not be surprised if she wins it back. Barf, by the way. Yeah, that would be my reaction too. Again, we just gotta cross our fingers that the writers understand that it's more important to develop the stars of the future now than relying on a girl who's been at the top of the division for freaking a decade. Best thing that could possibly happen is that Rosemary goes over Gail Kim. Best thing that could possibly happen. I just don't have a whole lot of faith that they'll actually do it. So will Allie face LVN or does Allie move on to Rosemary? Oh, she can't go to Rosemary yet. I think she's got unfinished business with LVN. I mean, that could be a full-blown feud now. And I want Allie to move on to feud with Rosemary eventually, but not yet. That's got to be a right time, right place thing. Because this is your top heel and your top face of the Knockout division. This is they may not know it yet. They may still think it's Gail Kim above everybody else, but this is the next top heel and top face. So I think they need to save that one for Bound for Glory. That's what I do. I've said that several times. Didn't Gail defeat the entire Knockout division already? So there is really nothing new she can do that she hasn't done already. Well, they've got some new girls that she hasn't feuded with, actually. Not that I want to see her beat them. No, I want to see her help them. But help them get over, help them become stars. Unfortunately, Gail doesn't really like doing that. Okay. Did Maria see the photo of Mike with the stripper? Not that I know of. I don't think they addressed that. I hate to say this, but I think they're trying to make Gail break Angelina Love's six title reign record. Ugh. Gail's already got so many accolades. Does she really need that one too? God damn it, I hope not. 2 new knockouts is a good thing. We're married to the Wolves. Angelina Love is not a new knockout. No, she's an old knockout. I mean, she's left and come back several times, but there's nothing new about Angelina. And as far as I know, Alexis Nevaeh has not been signed to a contract, so I guess she's on a PPA deal, so she might just be there for that feud. To be fair, hasn't there always been Gail Kim Marks booking the knockout division? To a large extent, yes. But Demore and Mantell were like really, really fucking big ones. Are you watching Iron Fist next week? Hell yeah. I see a lot of hate on Maria lately. Don't people get that she's exactly what Stephanie McMahon should be? What people have been bitching for Steph to do. Elevate everyone around her. Yeah, thank you. That's what Maria does best. She gets everybody around her over. She's helped Allie get over huge. She's helped LVN get over. She's even helped Sutter get over to an extent. All Stephanie does is bury people and emasculate people to put herself over. One of the reasons why people are fucking sick of Stephanie. Because Maria is there to help everybody else, and Stephanie is she just wants to look cool. And isn't really, and just wants to bury everyone around her. Jane Cena isn't even the most popular knockout in Impact. Hell, Rosemary as a heel gets more cheers than Gale. Yeah. Yeah. Maria and Mike signed a 1-year contract, so that's good. Did they? I heard they were negotiating one. I hadn't heard they signed one yet. Is that confirmed? If so, that's great news. And guys, I gotta go. I got about an hour before I have to leave, so I got stuff to do. I gotta get dressed and eat and clean myself up and shower and stuff. So I gotta go. Thanks everybody for joining me. We're a lot earlier than usual, but hey, you guys turned out. A bunch of you. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Good questions. I'm sorry I couldn't get to anything. Couldn't get to everything, but kind of pressed for time here. So that's going to have to be it. So I will talk to you guys on Thursday, where we're going to dissect the latest episodes of Arrow and Flash. So I'll talk to you then, and also stay tuned for the next Impact stream on Saturday, unless I have to work, in which case it'll be Sunday. So there's always an update on when the stream will be on my Twitter, so follow me on Twitter at TheRealFK9. I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Peace out.